Africa's Standard Bank has agreed to fund 20 billion rands worth of renewable energy products in Africa's biggest economy, together with the ICBC, that's the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China. Standard Bank, which is 20% owned, of course, by ICBC, says the two banks would provide debt financing to companies that meet preferred bidder status under a South African government program for renewable energy. On the line now, or rather in the Standard Bank studio, is Alistair Campbell, Head of Renewable Finance at Standard Bank. Alistair, thanks for joining us. Talking about preferred bidders, what is the preferred renewable energy, do you think, these days?
Well, in order to get preferred bidder status, bidders have to participate in the government's renewable energy procurement program. It's a competitive process, and once bidders have been selected through this competitive process to build a plant, they would have reached preferred bidder status as defined in the loan agreement with ICBC.
So that's what makes you a preferred bidder. What in your book stands, and just to rephrase Lindsay's question there, as a preferred renewable energy right now?
Well, this is specifically designed to be caught by the IPP procurement program that the government is running. And within that program, there are a number of technologies, so wind, solar, mini hydro, biogas, biomass, and concentrated solar power. So all of those technologies would qualify as the preferred or become part of the process. And once you have submitted a compliant bid, these projects would obviously then need to be funded, and that's where we, together with ICBC, would step into the frame.
What do you think, Alistair, though, is the one that really stands out to you? Because there's been a few false starts. I've seen a lot of solar projects. I've seen a lot of talk about wind projects up on the west coast of the Cape area. Is there any one particular area which Standard Bank and the ICBC would look at and say, yes, actually, this is going to be the one for the future, given the, as I said, the false starts of others in the past?
I think there isn't anyone that particularly stands out, but certainly the criteria that we are looking at when evaluating projects is to look at the quality of the sponsors, the established track record of the technology that they're using, and then obviously the quality of the sites. If you're looking at wind, by far the best sites are down the west coast and south coast of South Africa. And then there are a number of really good sites in the Southern Cape which get a winter wind regime. And then from a solar perspective, the solar sites that are most attractive are those, obviously the ones located next door to substations, but also in the Northern Cape. So places like Kimberley, Uppington, De Aar, Aggeneys, and then various other sites in northern Limpopo that we're looking to fund at the moment. So we have 15 or 16 projects that we're looking at right now, and they're in all of those areas that I've just outlined.
Alistair, you've highlighted some of the opportunity that's being put on the table for you, but given the kind of false starts that Lindsay alluded to a little earlier, how are you weighing up that opportunity against the risk? What kind of risk opportunity scenario are we looking at here?
Look, the false starts that have occurred, I think, are primarily related to processes that started but never concluded. On the government side, and certainly this renewable program is being run in a very efficient way, and is something that has buy-in from all the ministries involved. So your Ministry of Energy, the Ministry of Finance, Department of Trade and Industry as Eskom's shareholder, and the regulator. And so, from our perspective as a lender, the risks have been significantly mitigated because these projects are in fact have the backing and support of the government, and will therefore be very attractive to us as a bank looking to lend into them.
Alistair, given what I've just spoken about with a chap from Thomson Reuters in London about the way that the development of traditional energy sources is coming along because of new technology, do you think that renewable energy projects are something that are viable for the future, or are they going to be put on the back burner, so to speak, because of what I've just said? In other words, new ways of getting out the old stuff.
Look, so I think in South Africa's case, we have to tailor the solution to the resources available. And in our country, we have considerable coal resources. But the difficulty that we have there is that all our coal resources are going to create large number of carbon emissions. So renewable energy is not the panacea to replace coal. It is an important part of our energy mix, and it will remain so going forward. So I would imagine that a combination of new coal-fired power plants, the Medupis and Kasiles of this world, imported hydro from our neighbours, namely Mozambique and Zambia, and possibly the DRC through the Inga project, and also nuclear, which will complement our baseload generation. But obviously, we need to get our minds around the cost of the nuclear power plants and the time it will take to build them, because it'll be considerably longer than the renewable projects, which have an average rollout period of between 12 and 30 months.
Give us a sense of the kind of activity that is happening out there, Alistair, within that renewable energy space and development in that regard, because it's that exactly that must have acted as strong incentive for Standard Bank and ICBC to bring something like this in terms of funding to the fore.
Yeah, sure. Look, it's really exciting. We've been following this for the last couple of years. There are literally hundreds of developers running around the country looking for appropriate sites. So practically every farmer along the Orange River in the Kimberley, Uppington, De Aar area has been approached to become a landlord for a solar project. Similar situation up in Limpopo. And really, if you had to take pinpoint all of the substations in the Southern Cape and Western Cape, which have good wind regimes, and primarily around the Jeffreys Bay, St. Francis Bay area, there is a huge amount of activity, either projects that have already been given preferred bidder status and are being built, or projects that are looking to participate in the next bidding round, or projects that are in the process of closing right now. So we have 3 projects, for example, one in St. Francis Bay, one in Port Elizabeth, and one in Cookhouse that are wind projects. There's another one in Caledon, and another one near Somerset East. So all those wind projects are in the process of being built. The turbines are arriving, the groundwork and civil work has already commenced, and really it's a massive logistic exercise to transport all these turbines, which are really huge when it comes to logistics. And so there's a lot of excitement, a lot of activity, and a considerable amount of interest from the international world, given our excellent solar and wind regimes.